See the way I titled this? That's almost like a movie in itself. I'm saying I'm good with titles, as in what I help. Yes, with teams. Discovery. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things combined and make them into one. Santa kills kids. Santa kills kids. Just imagine your father working at Walmart as Santa Claus, and he's going to work every day, right? For the holiday season, once again, he plays as Santa Claus, and then one day you just end up dead, missing. Nobody reports you being missing, and yet you're dead and laid to rest somewhere out, abroad, across, and away from public eyes, right? That's gruesome in the detail. Makes you ask, what will make a father be so loving to somebody else's kids at a Walmart store and yet less loving to his own kids? That's hypocritical in a sense. To be a father and work at a store, and every holiday season you're picking up and holding and gathering other people's children on your arm to sit and take photos, or however you're doing, walking around as a character. Well, not completely Santa Claus, I'm saying, right? That's a stretch, and yet it fits, right? In the clothing department, walking around with Santa in your suit draped out, right? You're being respectable to other. You're being treating other people's children with respect, and yet not your own kind, right? Those two things don't go together. It just don't. It don't even seem right. So a Santa worker for department store in Guyton, Jordan. Well, I was gonna say Jordan, like on the Jordan, right? Guyton, Georgia, right? Killed his two kids and buried them in his backyard. The kids, Elwin Crocker Jr., 14 years old, who disappeared back in 2016. That's a long, long time. 2 years is a long. Just think about it. Disappeared back in 2016, and his sister was last seen back in October 2018. Both the kids' remains were unearthed in a farm town, yes, nearby, during the week of December 20th of 2018. So Elwin Crocker, sir, age 50 years old, the father to be exact, of the two kids, showed law enforcement where the graves of the two kids was located. Crocker worked once again at Walmart nearby as well. Everything is in fact nearby, including shallow graves and all the rest, right? So police received a tip after the tip was called in through 911 on December 19, 2018, over Mary, the young child, that his daughter, right, over her whereabouts. A tip was in fact issued in by somebody over the child's whereabouts. Effingham County Police Office, Sheriff's Office, confirmed the dates of the years when both children disappeared. They were the ones that confirmed. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I know. Because to think before is to jump out of line as in too soon, right? All family members related to the kids were questioned, and each provided information in which didn't align with one another's story. Each family member, in fact, gave a fictitious story somewhat, I should say. They gave somewhat details that didn't match the other family members in relation to these two children being gone, disappeared, missing, and all the rest, right? As in, information can't be hidden for long. It always comes out. It always does, right? And so investigators feel Mary could have been buried for a few months, as Elwin was more than likely buried for about 2 years. Did you get that? So let me read it back again. Investigators feel Mary could have been buried for a few months. That's the little girl. That's what they feel. She was more likely buried for a few months. And then the brother was more than likely buried for 2 years. That's sad and odd in itself, because it say your neighbors and everybody else family living all in the surrounding area and coming over to the houses to say, well, where the hell is the kids? Not many people know what to make of this story. I know I wouldn't. Living next door, if there's I was gonna say landlord rental property of the house or whoever, right? People renting all the rest of apartment. Well, they don't really come too close or too far with that. But I that will be in question, especially if I'm a friendly neighbor and I'm used to seeing the kids out and around, and then one day you don't see them. And especially for 2 years, would I get to thinking, well, maybe they sent them off to go live with somebody. A person like me will ask, because I'm just nosy like that. Not when it comes to famous people and all that, but everyday people, especially when it involve kids. Well, what happened to little Johnny or little Susie? What happened to them? Because how is it that the parents are living here and yet the kids are far away now because you don't see them? I don't know. I see suspicious stuff as it's happening, is what I'm trying to say. Your average person don't, like, I'm totally aware to surroundings and sometimes not surroundings. But when it comes to kids and certain activity that looks strange, because everybody has a habit, and I said that even in my Asia degree videos, and yes, Jolie Musa, when I said in relation to habits, people in fact perform habits as in they get to used to doing stuff, right? And so neighbors oftentimes peep those habits and know what to make of it. Okay, well, such and such is coming in at this time and they're leaving out at that time, and the kids is coming and going with them, and yet to not see that there is to say, well, it's strange and it's off. Does that make sense? I think it does, right? That I had to throw that in there because it makes it a little bit more interesting, gives you the viewer something to think about in case you see strange activity, right? And so stepmother to the kids, Candace Crocker, age 33, and mother to her, did you get that? The stepmother of the kids, Candace Crocker, age 33, and her mother by the name of Kim Wright, age 50, as well as boyfriend to Miss Wright, that's in a circle almost. His name is Anthony Prater, age 55. All of them, in fact, face charges, yes, concealing death. When it comes to child cruelty and all the rest, they face that child cruelty and the concealing of a death, a child's death. Let's be specific. That's I mean, I'm saying that's disappointment in itself while I'm sitting here. Because what it does, it'll make you peer into life as a whole and then start questioning, well, why are we here to live to begin with if people are just so allowed to kill kids like that? Was a life taken not valuable or something? So the unfairness of life where that adult got to live, but those two kids got to die. That's what I'm saying. So police in fact say more charges may be added, and such was stated, yes, by Effingham County Jail. When it comes to the bond and all the rest that goes into that sort of thing, you know how that, or not everybody knows about the bond process with that and the charges. Yeah, with that in my off delivery, apologies. I kind of said it out of line backwards, right? Twisting the words. Family failed to report the kids, and I stated that. See the kids up above? Why? Well, we know the why now, but before all this has happened, this points into like my last video that I made. When you go to kill people, the guy that killed his mother, when you go to kill people, don't you think people gonna scope that and pick that up? That, oh, we seen two kids and now we don't see them no more. So what do you tell public member or public people outside your home, neighbors? What do you tell your family members when all of a sudden somebody in your household is disappearing and gone? And you killed them, and yet you're not gonna say that. What are you gonna make up, knowing that your kids have aunts and uncles and all the rest that's gonna want to see them, and possibly grandparents or friends. What do you do and say after you kill the kids? And then when family members start asking, well, where are they at? What do you make up and lie and say? Maybe people should plot the murder before or something. That's laughable, and yet it's not. That just don't. That's in fact a loose string I just called out right there. That don't even seem right. I myself am not a convicted killer, and nor would I ever be, and never do I think about that sort of thing too much. That's too much time on the hands. Help to be useful with time. I said that 3 or 4 times in thousands of videos of mine, right? But who wouldn't plot out even a child's murder or something in a line of that? Because school teachers point in with that. You got children's services organizations that point in with that. It's all type of stuff that point in the relationship aspect, I'm saying, and wanting to know the child's whereabouts was to be said and had. They look like they don't even care. Every one of them in the photo look like something wrong with them. Could be meth heads. Maybe that'll come out later or something. They look like it. That's not the down people that's on drugs, but do use choices wisely. So the family had a history of being reported to the Division of Children of my wording. I'm sorry, because I ain't been on this camera in a few days. The family had a history of being reported to the Division of Family and Children Services. The kids weren't seen for some time because they were removed from the public school that they were attending, and the sole purpose of them being removed from the school is so that they would be homeschooled. So maybe that was part of the plot process, and the plan was to possibly pull them out of school first and then kill them, to make it look less obvious than say just pulling them out of school or something. Abuse more than likely was all around that house. Investigators have been on the move to find the mother of both kids, and that's being said because she might in fact be homeless in South Carolina. This is what happens. Hopefully she's not on drugs or don't have mental illness, but this is what happened when a mother walk away from her kids and leave her kids in the hands or custody or something of somebody that I would consider a stranger, because to kill him is to say he was, right? Despite him being a father. That's what happened when you're a mother and you leave your kids with somebody else despite them being a father, and you're not knowing what they can do, even in murder, right? You should want to be a mother and take care of your kids and not leave them like that sort of thing. She more likely, if she was homeless in South Carolina, that's to say more likely she couldn't take care of her own well-being, which is why they possibly was there with the father for that particular reason. But once again, you should still want to stop through. I wonder if she has mental illness with her being homeless, or a drug addiction problem, if that's why she's homeless. Because I'm thinking, if I was a mother, not everybody think like me. I don't think like other people, right? So I can't really say, but to put myself in between, in line with the story, is to say I still would want to check in and stop through and check on my kids, even with them staying with their father, even with me being out of state or something. I would have to borrow some money or something from family members or something. Try to get something free to get shit back or get on the phone. Because to say, I'm going to point that out, to say that the mother is more than likely homeless in South Carolina, that's the possibility is not well known. That's to say that there was more than likely no contact with the kids. Trust and believe I can see that. There had to more than likely not been much at all contact, as in it had to be non-existent for police and everybody else law enforcement wise to be guessing. They're guessing that she could be homeless. See what I'm saying? To have to guess is to say, well, there was no contact. Because if there was, there will be answers as in knowing fully that she's homeless. So police want to know, how is it possible that a child goes missing for 2 years? They're speaking about the son at left. How is that possible? Police want to know. How is it possible that a child goes missing for 2 years and nobody noticed that? And all is still under investigation. How do you notice that? See, because I explained it real good to you, the viewer. Leave me a comment on this. When I said the relationships between blood relatives, maybe they had to be in on that, unless they didn't visit that often. Or sometimes families ain't always close, as in they keep a distance from one another. And yet I'm thinking even something about that is odd and strange. Usually cousins know where each other's whereabouts is and time frame and stuff like that, because even kids like to play outside and all that. Even in the winter, despite it being cold, it's all type of Christmas activities that go on. But because they was pulled out of school, I can't say that. Well, maybe people would have known if there was, say, school activities and they stopped showing up. But since they were homeschooled, that don't really fit in. It's looking like these people dragged, however you want to term right, took them out of school to only place them in homeschool to, say, plot to kill them later, right? And yet I can feel and sense that they somehow not, why does random words pop up in my brain when I was gonna say disembarred? That ain't it. But how you remove somebody's existence from something and you keep pulling them back, even away from everybody, family, everybody else, so that you can issue death or something. Because even domestic violence disputes happen with that sort of thing, where people is with somebody or with a lover or married to somebody, and they will slowly make you withdraw with them. They will withdraw you away from everybody and you're just up under them. That's abuse in itself, right? And then that's how people end up dead. That's usually the finale with that. So that's possibly how that played out. Because to say nobody knew and didn't take notice is to say, well, what do you have? What I just explained. So, we're on investigationdiscovery.com. The logo sits up in the far left corner. I'm eating hot peanuts. Live now. It's in fact live now. The deadliest decade. See how the layout, in fact, rotated? Google does that as well. Oops. Let me go back up. Unlocked episodes. Deadliest Deception. Season 1, Episode 1. To gain a preview, it's in fact, click right within here. You can click the play button. Add to watch later is to click the plus sign. Let me scroll down some more so you can see that. InvestigationDiscovery.com. You might want to come to this to check more of this out. Shattered. Season 2, Episode 9. All audio-visual preview can be discovered right within here. On last night, you can in fact come and scroll any of these yourself, just like I'm doing. This is just preview of what's available. Chosen options. Despite you not being able to see me because I'm blocking partially. Recommended for you. Shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda. Yes. ID Go Original Series. Oops. I should have known that was going to do that because I'm so close off the edge. There you go right there. Joe Kenda. All the ladies, in fact, love Joe Kenda. Crime Feed News. Crime Feed News. To gain access to the Crime Feed and Crime Feed News is, in fact, click within here. You see Casey Anthony, right? Click within here, you would in fact be directed to the outsidecryingfeet.com for all the latest and greatest in breaking tragedy. See how I mixed that up? Not latest and greatest breaking news. No, latest and greatest breaking tragedy. To receive a newsletter is in fact type your email address in and click next, and that's what you would in fact receive. Yes, a newsletter with that sort of thing. Sipping some wine, watching Lieutenant Joe Kinder do his thing. Because it'll be solving, the way that he solve is to say you might in fact want to hide your purse. That's that's funny in itself. I don't know why I just made that up on the spot. If Lieutenant Joe Kinder solve as many crimes as he has, is for me to put my purse all the way up under the grave for it never to be found again, because he's real tight on his game is what I'm trying to say, and there's no shallow in that with his solving skills. So leave me a comment, tell me what you feel about the video and the story and the making of that as a whole. I got 2 more to go and I'm off, and yet not with Santa Claus, because even that's over. May they all go to jail and rest with that, and not so pleasantly. May it be cold, stiff, dry, with no heat, as in let it be hell what they offered the children. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm gone for now.